Hold on. Hold on. Woo. Woo. My bad. Woo. Oh, it's Do You Hear Me? With Unico Williams. That's right. It's your boy. And I'm back with another one. That's right. The Mack is back. Shark Attack. Woo! I just came off this plane, y'all. Had me on vacation, but I am back. I am back. I know y'all miss me. I know it. Man, I just had a blast. But I'm coming back to you on a Thursday, as I love to do, because Thursday's my favorite day of the week. Why? Well, I was born on a Thursday, 11:47 a.m. That's right! Man, I'm so happy to be back, and I'm in very good spirits. You know, it ain't nothing like family. It just really ain't. You know, my cousin got married this past weekend, and you know, I say that's more than an excuse for me to get to where I need to go. And I know I needed to go back down south. I needed to go back to my roots and hang out for a little bit with my people. And I tell you, we had a ball. Well, I had a ball. I don't know if they had a ball dealing with me, but that's okay. That's okay. That's family, okay? You know, that's family. Y'all took good care of me. You know, I went down there on Thursday, last Thursday, down to Jackson. Had a great time. Had a couple of hiccups when I first got there. You know, there's a whole story out there right now about how I got a room key, and it was to somebody else's room. And I had walked in there, and the brother was just out there. You know how you just come from a long day of work. You got your white T-shirt on. You probably been doing construction, and you just lean back. You just lean back a little bit. I walked in on a brother that just came from a long day of work. And you know what? He ain't say nothing, and I ain't say nothing either. I just went on back to that lobby and got me another room. But other than that, man, I had a ball, man. Shout out to Kevin and Misha. That was a beautiful wedding. That was a beautiful reception. I had a beautiful time. I had a free day in Mississippi, by the way. I had a free day, and boy, was I free. And I had a good time that day. I can't remember a lot of that day. I did some things in Houston. I got to kick it and do what I do down there. Got into it with Megabus. I'm mad at them. So, you know, shout out to Greyhound. No, I like y'all. Got me up to Dallas, and I had a good time hanging with my big brother, his wife, his kids, and you know the great nieces and old great nephew. I got to meet some of some of the babies, and I got to hang out with them a little bit. I kind of watched them, but it was a couple of times they was watching me. So it's all good. It's all good, man. So, you know, more than anything, I just had a good time in general. I felt like I was back at home, and you know, that's the love that they gave me down there, and I appreciate everybody that was involved in my antics, and you just let him go, and I appreciate it, man. So, man, like I say, if you got family, you know, no matter how long it's been, that's real family if they still rocking with you and you still rock with them the way that you rock with them. And the other part that I love so much about it was all the success that I was around and all the people that's trying to do, you know, live the best versions of themselves. And they still working on that, but they already looking some good. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think that's something that's unique about, you know, that old class of 06 and then, you know, 04, 05, you know, and then on down the line. You know, we got some down the line. And I enjoyed that part a lot. One of my favorite parts was that I got to speak my native tongue. You know what I'm saying? I got to go down there and speak a little bit because I know typically when I'm up here, I have to, you know, speak in a particular way in order to make sure everything. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So it was good for me to kind of let loose and be myself. And again, I can't thank my family enough for inviting me into their homes, inviting me into their cars, it just inviting me to their bottles, because best believe I was showing out, man. But I had a good time, and I'm glad I got to see everybody. And you know, we gonna do it again, okay? I might do it a little bit. I might do it a little better. I might have a little something on my arm next time. Keep me in check, you know what I'm saying? But you know, this time I definitely enjoyed myself. But you know, getting into it, a part of my vacation, which I kind of felt was coming. I didn't think it was coming this quickly because, you know, last week's episode was about Breonna Taylor and her family settling for $12 million. Something didn't sit right with me about that situation at all. When they said $12 million, that said to me that they trying to end it, be done, quit talking about it, that kind of thing. I felt like there's a plan in place, and that plan dealt with take care of the family financially for what happened to her, admit no wrongdoing other than the fact that we paid y'all for what happened, and then they turned right into what we heard a couple of days ago, which was 2 officers in that situation that were shooting. They ruled that as justified as defending themselves. Mind you, these are some 3 officers came. I think they say it was more, but these 3 main officers, they came there on a no-knock warrant, which means I ain't got to knock. I'm pulling up and I'm gonna see what you got up in there. They did not find any drugs or anything that was going on that they thought was going on in there, and actually they were looking for someone else that doesn't even that's not in that apartment. So, you know, like I said, I spoke on it. Go back to last week's episode if you want to see how I felt about that $12 million settlement that the people of Kentucky as taxpayers had to pay, not the city, none of that. The people of Kentucky paid for that. No, they didn't. No, there's no accountability. They're saying that the state of Kentucky, in a sense, is the ones being held accountable for what happened to Breonna Taylor. So we move ahead a few days later after that show, and out of those 3 main officers that I'm speaking on at the beginning of this soliloquy, 2 of them, they said that they were defending themselves because they were shot at by someone, and then one of them who got fired. So one of the 3, he got fired. And they did this whole like, oh, it was reckless what he did, this, that, and the third. So we're going to fire him and we're going to send you guys out a nice letter. We're done with it. Now, mind you, that was a long time ago now. That was 160, 64 days, 163, 160, 150. A long time ago from when they announced that they did this. When they dropped that verdict and said, well, not verdict, but when they dropped the indictment, which is for, what do they call this mess? Wanton endangerment. Wanton endangerment on this person, which is a Class D felony in Kentucky. And we all know how Class D felonies work and how fluid they are, especially if you don't have a prior record or anything like that. We know how Class D felonies work. You know, if you don't use somebody's credit card before, you ain't had no business using. I hate to say it, but I'm not surprised that that's what happened. That's the route that they went. Now, wanton endangerment is basically saying, because of what you was doing, because of what you did, you could have put other people in harm's way. So this was not like the indictment didn't have anything to do with Breonna Taylor being a victim. No, it had nothing to do with Breonna Taylor at all. It had everything to do with the wall that had the hole from the bullet that was shot because they were shooting bullets. Basically, they're saying you could have hurt somebody else. And that's what this man is getting a slap on the wrist for. So, when it comes down to legacy and what this is doing for what we're trying to do, as far as like, you know, they're talking about defunding police and all that kind of things, and changing and reforming, police reform and all that kind of stuff. What that's saying is you can get away with the murder of someone by paying the family. But you can't go around shooting nobody else's house, because that's what it comes down to. That wall that got shot, that's what that man is in trouble for. And I believe that when they said that they fired that man, the goal was, hey, just say, you know, we was shooting in there and I might have shot in the wrong way. I didn't shoot where I needed to be shooting, because, you know, Breonna's boyfriend had got out of that situation unscathed. And I think he might have like an under the table deal right now. This person that is going through this, they said, you know what, this what I do. This what I do for y'all. I'm going to take the rap as the person that shot at this wall over here. Now, don't get me wrong, somebody else getting shot in this thing, this would have been definitely, I will be speaking on that for sure. Somebody else got hurt in the midst of this. 100% I'm speaking on all victims, but nobody else got hurt. But what they're saying is you went in there so recklessly and we expect more out of you. So in a sense, he got a write up and fired. He got terminated. But it seems to me, it just feels like to me it was all set up. And especially because of the amount of time that it took for them to get to this point. Now that happened about 6 months ago. And I feel like the whole time they was all trying to come up with something, some way that they can make it so that, you know, Kentucky and all that, they can look, the department can look good. Louisville department can look good. How can we do this? And how can we do this without us really taking accountability for what happened? And I believe that their plan came to fruition. So I think he has to pay $1,500 bond, because you know you just pay 10%, you done with it. That ain't nothing. And there's a whole bunch of folk out there that just love the police so much. He probably ain't had to pay for that bond. Let's just be real. And he probably has a defense team ready right now to make sure that he does 6 months of probation, maybe 3 months. Who knows? And it gets dropped down to a misdemeanor, and it's something that can fall off of his record after doing a good job for 6 months. Don't get in trouble anymore. This falls off your record. You just can't be Louisville police no more. But what we're going to do is we're going to break you off a little something. And then you go to one of these surrounding counties and do what you do there if you still want to be in law enforcement. But you may not want to be in law enforcement after we pay you how we going to pay you, in an effort to make everybody look good. And that's what I was alluding to, because I said, okay, $12 million. That's what I said last episode, last week. I said $12 million. Okay. So what's next? And I had a feeling that this was coming. I had a feeling that people would be up in arms. And you know what? It's kind of discouraging. It's kind of discouraging in a lot of different ways, because you had LeBron James stepping up to the plate saying, you know, in the bubble, after we because we still in the midst of a pandemic. Let's not forget that. We still in the midst of all that still going on. But you got LeBron James in the bubble. That's the most isolated. Because, listen, I ain't watching their MLB game since they started their bubble. I ain't watching their, what they call it with the hockey. I haven't watched any of those games. I heard they've been in a bubble. My eyes been on the NBA and the WNBA. this whole time, because they have continuously pushed the narrative about this. And the narrative being, we need justice for Breonna Taylor. Shout out to Jalen Rose last night during the Boston versus Miami Heat game 4. He said justice for Breonna Taylor, and ESPN, I don't know what y'all did, but y'all cut him off. But at the same time, it did kind of look like, they was already transitioning to something else, and he might have did that, like, that F you real quick, and before they went to the whatever commercial they was going to. You know how folk do. So that could go either way. It did look like it kind of cut him off, but at the same time, he might have been hitting, he might have been doing a last second shot real quick, and then, we on to the next quarter. That might be what happened, but I just hate the fact that I saw this coming. I saw that there would not be a real resolution to this. I saw that a person's, like, it's not so much about ruining another person's life. I mean, he took somebody else's. But this is not going to hurt this person. I don't think we'll ever hear about this ever again. I mean, we'll hear about the verdict and all that. But I think it might go away unless we hold on to that. And I'm not sure how the law works, but I'm pretty sure, like, after they go through all that and then they have a grand jury go through all the evidence, and who knows what they told that grand jury. Did they come out there like, hey, look, this is what we can get them for. So do you think that this person is responsible for that? I don't think they said this is what manslaughter is. This is what this, that, and the third is. So what can... Okay, he may have been responsible for this. And it's this. It's this. It's not this. It's just this. My heart hurts. It hurts for her family. It hurts for her, period. I think her legacy going forward, we'll never forget this. I think you put her in the ranks of the Rosa Parks of the world, the people that have gone through, injustice, except, the difference is she lost her life in this. But I think that she will go in that Mount Rushmore, if you will, since they all saying we're American and everything is just even for everybody. Everybody has the same chance in America. I think she'll go on that Mount Rushmore of black people that help really change things. And I got to give big ups to LeBron and everybody that's playing in that played in that bubble. They left their families, to go play in this bubble, and they finally got their families in there. They still speaking about that. I think that that's very important. I think that's mad important. It's paving the way so we don't have another Breonna Taylor. But my fear is this. My fear is that there may be another Breonna Taylor, and that's the one where they start making the change. I feel like I feel like at this point there may be one more victim of this kind of situation. And I don't want that, because that could be somebody I know. That could be somebody that you know. That could be somebody that is very close to you. We don't know who it is. We don't know who it is. These things happen. I didn't know Breonna Taylor before. What happened to Breonna Taylor happened to her. But what if I did? I'd be pissed about this whole thing. Much more pissed than I am right now. And best believe I'm chilling. I'm a little tired. But understand this. I want everybody to pay close attention to what's happening in the George Floyd situation. I want you to be prepared. Just like the city of Louisville was preparing for it. They know that they wasn't about to write. They said, folks out there ain't gonna like this. They're not gonna like what we're about to say to these people. They're not gonna like this. Board up all them government windows, all that. Board it up. Close off everything that has to do with the government. Any of them government buildings. Close them off. Close them off. Because we already know we ain't about to be about the right. But we've seen how they have reacted to what's going on. And hey, I'm going to be real with you. They not playing no more. They not playing no more. So let's protect, us. Okay? Let's protect us, the big wigs that call all the shots. Let's protect them. Okay? Let's protect them. Protect all that, because we see what happened after George Floyd. And that brings me to this point. The point that I'm making is there's about to be a weird, crazy correlation. And I want everybody to keep their eyes on it. I want you to prepare for it. I honestly don't know how to prepare for it, but I'm preparing for it because I feel like this. In the George Floyd situation, which we all saw on camera, the whole world saw that. In America, we showed out. Folks was protesting. I can't get into all these subgroups that joined in and start doing all this extra stuff that gives us these punk ass kids. And I apologize for cursing, but this punk ass kid, the ideal that he can just go around protecting property and you kill 2 people. What's the punk's name? Doesn't matter. Don't want to hear it. Let's handle our business. I hope the people over there in Wisconsin handle their business. Just an update on him. He's in Illinois right now. They're trying to extradite him to Wisconsin so he can face his charges, but they're trying to keep him there as long as they can. He's getting money built up for him. And they're using the narrative that y'all old president. They're using that narrative right now to try and protect him, and that's the wrong kind of narrative. I'll get on that later. What I'm saying to you is this. We need to watch this. Because I feel like what Louisville did was they did what Minnesota really wanted to do with the officers involved in George Floyd's, his situation. Kentucky, the state of Kentucky wanted to play the long game. I think that's what happened. And Minnesota played, in a sense, the short game. Okay, let's appease them now. Let's charge them. That'll hold them off. And I believe that might be Minnesota's game plan. So we need to prepare for that verdict too. I felt from the beginning that Breonna Taylor and her whole situation took way too long. You're supposed to act. Because if I do something, they'd be right there at me. They'd be right at my door. Joe Jones, right? Clank, clank. Or anybody else that look a little bit like me. So, I'm saying that to say this. Keep your eye on the outcome of that. And remember that I said that on this day. What this is, September 24th. We might not see any change in this until 2021, 2022. Because I'm already hearing, I've seen some of the interviews, and I apologize. I'm not talking shit about the Asian community or anything. I'm saying the Asian police officer in the situation with George Floyd. I've seen some of his interviews, and he's playing policy. Everybody has a chance when it comes to the law. Hey, wait, excuse me. I'm sorry. When you got the right people behind you, and you play policy, they may be able to weasel themselves out of this kind of situation. I can't say anything about dude that was blatantly putting his knee on my man's after the other officers that could have said something, that could have stood up. Like, cause me, if I'm that officer, I'm like, get off my man's neck. Get off my man's neck. What you doing on his neck like that? We got him. He's down. We got him. Taking the accountability away from them. And I feel like that's what's about to happen. One person is about to be held accountable for this action when it comes to George Floyd. And they like I said, Kentucky played the long game. And they're going to go through, the court system and do all that. And I feel like they're going to do the same thing with George Floyd. And they're going to try to appease us for now. But keep in mind, this is going to be an ongoing thing. You can't forget it. You got to keep their foot on their neck. We talk about it in sports all the time. Now, y'all done did it to us in a figurative way. Or, my apologies, y'all did it to us in a literal way. Now, figuratively, we got to keep that Breonna Taylor thing going. Like I said, I don't know what they can do after grand jury already said not guilty. I don't know if they can have people look back at it again. Like, you know, they got the whole double jeopardy. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. All I am is a human being. I see something wrong. I think something should be done about it. It's not being done. And I just see the powers to be just trying to appease. That's it. That's what I'm seeing right now. And I'm looking at it at this point and it look like they're getting away with it again. Man, some stuff didn't happen in the pandemic, and then the world stopped for a second, and excuse my language, shit happened. So we got to figure out the best way to use these policies and all this stuff that they write against. And don't get me on this attorney general, this punk. I don't like him. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's black. I don't care about that. He got his own agenda. I think he's one of them ones that only care about himself. He don't care about law, justice, or nothing. He cares about his bread. You know what? Stuff can happen to you in life. Stuff can happen to you in life. And it make you want to hate everybody. Make you want to be done with everybody and everything. It can happen. I believe that's what happened to that attorney general. I'm not even going to say his name. I'm done with that stuff. I'm done giving y'all names. I'm not giving y'all the time of date, but I'm going to tell you this. I know what's going on. I know what you're doing. You don't care about us. You don't care about black folk. You care about you. Sitting over there smiling and giggling with your old president. Because you trying to get ahead in life. Man, I'm telling you, best believe, as soon as you do anything wrong, they're going to throw your ass under the bus too. I apologize, your black ass under the bus. They're going to do that. You be trusting them? Don't be that. But that's what he is. He had an opportunity to change the narrative about the direction that the United States of America is going. He ain't did that. Not at all. What he did was secure himself. He sat up there, matter of factly, act like he couldn't hear the questions. I sat up there and watched the whole thing. You old newt mouth looking much. I can't do that because we trying to be PG-13. I really want to be G. But no. He was wrong for that. He was wrong for that. And, you know, he's sitting up there standing behind policy. I don't like people like that. Because they refuse to see the truth in the situation. When you stand behind policy all day long, you refuse to see the truth in the situation. And instead of helping, you're actually hurting everyone. Because this policy can come back to hurt you. You know, man, I done seen somebody get fired. You know how they had them signs up? Talking about you got to smoke at least 6 feet away from the building, 5 feet away from the building. You be right there by the door breaking policy every day. But it be that one time when they tired of your ass. Peace. I holler. When they tired, they look for anything. That's what policy does. We can't let these people stand behind policy and all that and get away with this type of stuff. That's why it's important to vote. It's important to vote for people that believe in the same things that you believe, and try and make it happen. I just the state of the world is so, it's really messed up, man. Such a division. The divide is crazy. You know, I'm down there in Texas without me knowing nothing. Down there in Jackson. I'm down there in Mississippi. I'm down in a lot of places. Let me tell you how the media shows y'all in the South. They depict y'all as folk that don't want to wear masks and don't want to, you know, adhere to law and just want to rally behind, you know, being sheep and all. My eyes were open because I actually went there and went in the situation. And nobody had no problem with no mask. The whole time I was in the South, It changed my whole opinion of the South. Like, I mean, not of the South in general, but like, you know, they showed me on TV that it seemed like the South was the ones that was really like, man, bump that. We gonna do what we do. We don't care about, man. Them is the safest folks. They safer than what they do in Indiana. I do know that. I do know that. Talking about reopening in October 17th. Y'all keep your eye on that. My folks that's following me in Indiana, watch out for that one. Choosing to pretend that COVID don't exist. Man, Texas is showing out when it comes to adhering to the rules, when it comes to social distancing and all that, and how to stop the spread of COVID. They tried to depict the South as looking as if they didn't care about this. And what I saw the whole time I was down there, I went through 3 states. I went through Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. And I went to the major cities. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody's doing the best they can. They're doing social distancing. All of that. I was in a wedding. Everybody had on masks. Everybody social distance. And, you know, people were quarantined in a sense with people, and they had on masks, and they were sitting next to each other. Like, how dare y'all sit there and try and depict a certain part of the country? And that's where that divide comes in. People just sit up there and say whatever they want to say, and make it truth to people. And that's why we have a divide. So why don't we go experience those things in a sense? And to piggyback that point and to end my soliloquy about that is, you know, it was a woman that refused to wear a mask at a and it was a socially distanced game. I mean, it went to me, but she refused to wear a mask at this football game. One of probably everybody else, the only people that didn't want to wear a mask during this thing. And they asked her politely to leave or put on a mask. She said, I'm not wearing a mask. But they asked her to leave. She didn't want to leave. So you the police, what you supposed to do? You're supposed to forcibly remove her. Now people is up in arms about the force that they use on this woman about this mask. See, I think that in media, me included, I ain't included with y'all, but I think that media, and me being a part of the media, we have a responsibility to tell the truth about what we see. More than 8 days ago, I had my own depiction about what I thought was going on in the South because of what they were showing and how some of the people I talked to, and this ain't none of my people. I'm talking about my people. I ain't talking about that. I'm just saying some of the people I talked to, they seem very nonchalant about the mask. And, I've had Ubers and all that stuff when I was down there. They ain't had no qualms about that mask. But, it was a couple Ubers that I had while in Indianapolis en route to, the airport, en route to wherever don't worry about where I went. But en route to what I was doing. Hey, how are you doing? And the first thing they say is, I'd be fine if I didn't have to wear this mask. But had I been somebody that was against masks, they would have been like, cool, I'm taking mine off too. That kind of thing is going on. So, shame on us up top. Shame on us up top. I'm seeing more of y'all playing too many games up here about this stuff. And I'm seeing that the South taking it serious. So do you see how quickly the narrative can really change? Once you experience it for yourself. And people are taking, that we hadn't seen before, have a stance on mask and all that stuff, or in police brutality. We're starting to see people that didn't have a stance against police brutality now take one because they saw somebody that didn't want to wear a mask be forcibly removed because you're a safety hazard, being at this game, showing out, putting people in danger. Y'all didn't like that. So now y'all got something to say. Just keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open for what's happening and what's going on down the road. Do not lose sight of that. The more that they try and make stuff normal again, they try to make that so that we don't look at it no more. In this election time, stop making people's lives political, man. What? Y'all almost had me cursed. Stop making the lives of people a political point. What is wrong with you? Like, and I understand if President Trump can come out here and tell us that in February that he knew how dangerous COVID was and he didn't want to just cause a panic. So more than 200,000 lives were lost. And then just last night or the night before, I apologize if I got my nights wrong, but he just said, it's not affecting anyone. It's not affecting anyone. It's affecting the lives of 200,000 people who passed away. It's affecting their families. So multiply that. And then let's not talk about the people that passed away from COVID that weren't even counted. It's a sick world, man. We gotta get this stuff together. Again, keep an eye on this George Floyd thing. They might be trying to play a long game here. And we might be talking the same thing a couple of years down the line about George Floyd and what happened to him. We might be having the same marches and all that. I know that after the verdict for Breonna, a couple of police officers were shot. I don't know the circumstances behind that. I'm not behind any type of violence whatsoever. I'm not behind that. But let's talk about America for a hot second and how America came to be. Okay, America didn't like how the United Kingdom was taxing them. They went to war about it. They bumped. And the North was like, hey man, chill out on them slaves. The South was like, nah, we bought them slaves. They helping us make money. Like helping us make real money. If we don't pay them and we get 100% profit, oh, now you want to play with my money. So now I got to pay these people is what you asking me for. Pay these people to get my profit. Come on, man. And what they do, they bumped about it. And now people want to say every time, when is these peaceful protests? Man, they tried that, man. People been trying that. They're like, I don't understand. Y'all got it easy. Because from what I've seen in history, people that got a problem with something, especially the hierarchy, let's take it to the French Revolutionary War. Come on, man. They ain't like that. Not one bit. And they had something to say. And they handled that. And they beheaded the king and queen of France behind that. When the people stand up, things change. And that's where we at now. And people are uncomfortable with that. That people are actually fighting back against, the status quo. People don't like that. So let's see where this goes. Like I say, keep your eyes peeled to what's going on and what people are actually going through. Because I don't like the way this pot of chili smell at all. I'm not sure about where this George Floyd thing is going. Because they might got an old trick up their sleeve. Policy. Remember that word. Policy. So I don't mean to segue, and I'm actually about to get out y'all hair, honestly. I'm going to segue, into sports. Today, you had the Dolphins versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Spread said that Jags got it by 3.5. I chose Miami, so hopefully that's what's going on. Also, the Lakers, they lost the last game, but here they are, game 4, 6 points is what they're saying right now. I went with the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers are going to handle Denver tonight. Put them into a 3-1 hole. That next one, we'll see. They may say that Denver is scrappy enough to get it under 5. We'll see what happens, but I don't have a Bartholomew joke today. I don't have any of that. Big football coming up as well. Appreciate having sports back, but man, we ain't done. We're not done, and I don't know when we'll be done. But I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled, and I ask y'all to do the same thing. Don't get distracted from what's really going on out here. Do not get distracted. Because it's far from over. Because you see, we had one outcome where it looks like Black Lives Mattered and people getting prosecuted for it. And then we have the other side where the police officers involved really getting a slap on the wrist, if you want to call it a slap on the wrist. And that's fueling both sides of politics, if you will. And let's not get caught up in sides. I wish there was one side, humanity, but people keep on continuing to make it not about humanity. They keep making it about their views and how they feel things should work, and not showing any type of empathy for people in general. People keep on coming up with cliques, and I'm in this part of the world and I'm comfortable for this in this part that I'm in. I'm cool in this circle. But they don't understand there's other circles and there's other people that if you let them into your circle, man, it's not that bad. Not all human beings are, I understand that people come from different backgrounds, but if you open your heart to people, period, we might just have some change. But as long as we continue to look at people as just being different and not give an opportunity to explain their story and see if we can help change and mold people, because I feel like we need to go to a part where the only minority there needs to be are the people that don't want world peace. That's where we need to go. And if we can get that, that's the life in the world that I envision. Again, I'm sorry I can't do all the jokes and stuff right now because I haven't been able to do them since we got back up and running, really. But now is not the time for the jokes, laughing and giggling. But I believe that day will come when we can just laugh and giggle again. But for now, we got to find a way to find some kind of unity. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Do You Hear Me? With Unico Williams. I holla.